Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be doing our playthrough of Machina Arcana. This is a game I'm really excited to bring to you. I just got this through Kickstarter and I'm so excited for this game. This is a steampunk-filled dungeon crawler for 1 to 4 players built in the world of the mythos of Cthulhu. So we're going to try to take our 2 survivors, or I guess you could say explorers. I don't know why they're survivors. They could be explorers and survivors at the same time. And we're going to go ahead and take them through our adventure. We're going to try to get through an entire scenario and see if our characters can make it to the end and survive and take out whatever is the monstrosity that is in our first scenario. This video is going to be a setup video. We're going to go ahead and meet our 2 explorers. We're going to go ahead and set up our map. We're going to go through the chapter that we're going to do, and we're also going to set up all the other things that go along with this game so you have an idea of how this game is set up. Then we're going to begin playing Machina Arcana. So to start the game, we have to go ahead and choose a scenario. We are going to do horror in the ice. That's going to be our scenario. So to start the scenario, we're going to go ahead and flip over our first card, which has some really cool graphics up on top here. Look at this picture of this thing. This thing's awesome. I'm really digging the art in this game. The art direction is absolutely amazing. And we're going to go ahead and read our short story that goes along with it. It says, number 1, the entrance. As we stepped into the dark, an uncanny gust of wind followed us and continued on down through the wide and spacious halls, echoing inconsistently. Our eyes, still blinking from the polar glare, adapted at last, and we could finally make out our surroundings. There was scant light, yet enough for us to discover ancient and complex corridors, halls, and rooms built by unknown hands aeons ago. What craft erected those delicate walls and exquisite pillars that rose above the precisely detailed flooring of stone slabs beneath our feet? The whole space seemed to pulsate with a strange rhythm, faint and indistinct. As we embarked on our exploration of these subterranean ruins, the feeling of disquiet only continued to grow. The further we ventured in, the more it appeared that some bizarre way this place itself became aware of our presence, and we seemed to be alone no longer. So that's going to be our entrance to our scenario. Also over here, it's going to tell us how to progress to the next thing. The only thing it says here is that little depiction right there means on entry. So when this card is revealed, we're going to be taking care of this place an entry token. We're going to continue with that when we get to putting on our board and everything. But for right now, what I want to do is continue setting up our scenario board. So we're going to take our tokens. We have these neat little tokens here that we're going to put down, and we're going to place one on the spawn rating, which is 7. So we're going to put that right here. We're going to place another one over here on our horror rating, which is 4. So we're going to put it right there. Now, if at any time we roll higher than those numbers, we have to resolve either a spawn of a monster or a horror event. If we don't roll that number and we roll lower, we just slowly tick this down until we do actually roll the number. Then we go ahead and reset it back to its current value. Up here on top, we have our monster level, or a threat. And as this threat increases, eventually it's going to get to the end. Once it gets to the end, we're going to be having to fight harder monsters. Right now we're on level 1, and it's going to go up to 2, 3, and 4. And eventually, if you get past 4, you're going to have to start destroying gear or automatically failing with your guy. He's going to die. So we don't want any of that to happen. So our scenario board is set up, and we're going to move on to the next part. The next thing we're going to do in our setup video is put down our horror events and our explorer events. So we're going to take our horror events. This is a stack of generic horror events. They don't have any symbols up here denoting what they're from. Now, of course, we do have ones that actually do have things up here that denote that this is part of this scenario. So we mix those in there together to kind of create one that's going to be unique to this scenario. So I'm going to go ahead and mix all these up and place them down. Now that we have our horror deck created, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for our explorer deck. We're going to take all the ones that have to do with our current scenario, and then of course all the generic ones as well. We're going to mix those together and place them down. Now that we have both of our decks ready to go, we're also going to take these little tokens. These are horror tokens. I'm going to put them right here. In case we ever have to do anything that has to do with timing or anything, we can keep a track with those tokens. As we play these, we're going to burn through them, and we're going to go ahead and put them in discard pile. Now that those are set up, we're going to get our item decks ready. So to get our item decks ready, we're going to place them all up here. I'm going to start by putting out our weapons, and we're going to go ahead and take all the ones that are level 1. So you're going to go through here and we're going to find all the ones that are level 1, and that's what I have here. So we're going to take these, mix these up quite a bit so that we don't know what's in here, and we're going to put them down on one of the spaces. Now, if you've noticed, there are 5 spaces. So we've got our weapons. We also have apparel, so we're going to mix up our apparel as well. This is things that we can equip to our body that are going to be able to help us protect us from the enemies and things like that. So we're going to go ahead and put those down right here. We also have artifacts. Artifacts are going to be unique, and they're going to have awesome effects. And we're probably going to pick up a lot of these because I'm pretty excited to see what some of these are. All right, we're going to put those down right here. And the last one we have our consumables. Now, most of these are only able to be used once, so we're going to go ahead and mix these up a little bit. We're going to put those down right here. Now, if you notice, there's one more space up here, but we only have 4 of these. As we draw through these decks, we can choose to either put cards back on top or destroy them, and they're going to go into this place right here. Now, it would be kind of nice to go through some of these because as we go through them, as we play through the game, I apologize, as we play through the game, we're going to be adding cards to the decks. Now, of course, if the decks are full of level 1 cards, it's going to be harder to find the level 2 and 3 cards because each one of these decks is going to increase in the amount of cards that they're going to be having. So I think it's going to be good to kind of mill through some of these cards as fast as we can so that if we get to the level 2s, we'll have a better chance of getting them. With our storyboard all set up, let's go ahead and see what monsters we're going to be fighting. So just like with the items, we are going to take our monster deck and we're going to look for all the ones that start with a level 1. Whereas there it is right there. So we're going to make sure we got all level 1s, and that is what we have. So we're going to go ahead and mix these up. We're going to go ahead and place it right down here on the main board. And as we find monsters, we're going to lay them out this way, and that's going to be kind of their track. They're going to go in order based on what you drew. And as you kill them, they're going to go over here. Now, of course, each one of these comes with a standee. So I've got all the standees of the level 1s. We're just going to put those right there. So if we need to get them, they're going to be readily available. Now that we have these set up, let's go see what explorers we're going to be playing with. So here are our player boards. They're all set to go. The 2 characters I have decided to play with, one is going to be Artemis Declan. He's a mystic, and he has a couple abilities, and these are his stats. He has 2 armor, which is going to be used when a monster attacks you physically. If it rolls that or above, it does damage to you. Willpower, where if it attacks you through like arcane abilities or something, or it tells us to roll our will, if it rolls that or above, then they damage us that way. This is the amount of essence this character can hold as it goes through the game. 4 is the health. Once that reaches 0, of course, you are dead. And 6 is the starting stamina you get each turn. And he also has 2 abilities here. One is attack, arcane, reduce the attack roll by 1 this round. So he can do this, and it attacks with just this small dice, but it costs 2 stamina, and you have to have a range of 2. Now this is another thing he can do. He can use 2 stamina and 1 essence, and make sure you're within 2 range to move up just 2 spaces. Those are his abilities that he has just for being this guy. We're going to put him right down here. The next person we have is our gunman, Jesse Morneau. He can use 2 stamina and 3 range to attack with a small dice, and he can reduce the range by 1 this round. He is also able to increase the range of your weapons, your ranged abilities by 1. So that's pretty good. That's just a passive ability that's always happening. Now he's a little bit better with his armor, but not as good with will. So, but he can only have 5 essence as he plays through, but he starts with 5 health and he can have 6 stamina. So we're going to put both those guys down on their little boards here, and then we have these neat little markers that we're going to go ahead and put down. So he starts with 6 there. He always starts with 0 essence, and then he has 4 health. So we're going to go, oops, I got a couple of health things here. Where's the essence one? Here it is. It's right here. This is the essence one. We're going to put that down right there. And we're going to do the same thing for good old Jesse up here. Jesse's going to have 5 health to start with. And he's also going to gain 6 stamina, and he starts with 0 essence. But we're going to be collecting that during the game. It's a really powerful stat to be able to gain some of these essence. Essence is really good. All right, our characters are all set up. Actually, there's still one more thing I have to do. I have to give them these 3 tokens. Similar to the horror tokens over there, we're going to be giving our characters each tokens as well. So if there's things I have to denote, I have these readily available to place on the different like cards or on the map or something. So there, now our characters are ready to go. Let's go on to the next part of the setup. So now we're going to go ahead and create our map for this adventure. And the way we do that is a super unique system. We're going to take all of these map tiles. Now, of course, there could be an end game tile. You're going to take that out. You're not going to use that when you set this up. And you're just going to mix these up a little bit. You're going to mix them up so that they completely are different. You can flip some of them over. You can take some from over here, flip them that way. It's going to be an absolutely unique system. This is the cool thing about this game. As you play through this game, you'll never need to be worried about playing the same adventure twice. Even though you're playing the same scenario, you might play on a completely different set of map tiles. So the game can be played over and over and have a different outcome. Now that we have our map tiles all mixed up, we're going to take the bottom one and place it out there. Oh my, look at that tile. All right, there's a few things I want to mention in this tile. So let's take a look at all these tile things here. Number one, we have our spawn points. These are where the monsters are going to come out. There's usually 2 spawn points on each map tile. Also, we're going to go ahead and see this one right here. This is a trap activation tile here. It'll activate the trap that's going to affect all these different tiles that have little grates on them. The next thing we have are some treasure chests. We can use these to gain items. Also on this map, we have some things down here at the bottom. This is going to be this one is our workbench. This workbench, we're going to be able to do some really cool things that we can get new items and we can even equip them straight away from there. Also, we have a few other things on here. We've got this recharge station right here. We're able to roll some dice to gain back health or some stamina if we go ahead and use that one. Now also you're going to see there's some walls and doors. You can use actions to close doors. All the doors on the map, unless stated otherwise, are always going to be starting open. That's what they're going to be. Now, of course, we have down here event spaces. You can activate these to gain some event cards. Those blue cards that we set out earlier, they're going to be beneficial to our adventurers. Also on the space, if you use these, you're going to be able to gain essence, which is also really good. You can also get an essence from using a chest as well. Now, in the middle here, this is going to be our chapter space. Some chapters, in order to advance, you have to activate this chapter space. And that's probably going to be what we have to do in this one, because I noticed on the card it didn't have anything we had to do. So to activate this, we have to spend 3 stamina and also 3 essence in order to go ahead and activate this chapter space. So that is going to probably be our main objective. The only other thing on this map that I haven't shown you yet is this down here. This is where we're going to be placing our entry tile, as according to our scenario card. So we're going to place it down like this so that we're going to be moving in that direction. I think it'll just be easier. So our adventurers are going to be placed out here and we're going to be ready to go. So according to our scenario, we're going to place an entry token. So that's going to be what we do next. So moving back over here, we're going to place our entry token right where this is. We're going to place that there, and then we get to put our survivors either on or adjacent to it. I think we're going to put them just like that. All right, our characters are on the map, and I think we're going to be ready to go. Now, a couple of things I didn't mention. These are pits. You can't obviously walk into these, but you can push and pull monsters into these and hopefully kill them that way. That'd be fantastic. There's also exploding barrels. They're not located on this map tile, but if we move on to another one, we might be able to find some. Also, there's some rubble, and that's also in here as well, and there's some stairs and things like that, but most of the stuff I was able to cover when we looked at the map tile. As we move through this, if there's things I need to talk about, will be more than happy to explain what they are. And that's our setup video for Machina Arcana. In the next video, we're going to begin our playthrough. I hope you're excited, because I am. We're going to be able to take our 2 explorers, Artemis and Jesse, through the scenario that we have chosen. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, hit subscribe, and also don't forget the bell symbol so you know when our next playthrough comes out. And it's going to be Machina Arcana. I'm excited to get this one going. Please leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. Are you excited to see if our brave explorers can make it through Horror in the Ice? If so, then I need you to meet me at the table.